What is up, George?
What's happening?
Hey, we got a book to review.
I'm excited. I actually tell you in advance. I was never planning on reviewing this book. Um, I wasn't one. I wanted to sit back and just read it as a fan, and that's
Hmm.
all. You lose that um, when you start reviewing these books. And I said this one I want to just read,
Right.
and I read it, and I contacted you, and you said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Yeah, let's review it." So that's what we're gonna
Yeah.
do today.
All right. And the book we're talking about is Sovereign Wolf by one Eddie Winkler.
Yep.
Uh, how do we do these reviews, George?
We use three categories. A through F type of scale. We go with art. Then we do story, and then we do book quality. And art includes everything. So it's penciling, inking, colors. Story is obviously the plot, dialogue, the editing, and we throw lettering in there too, because we say the letters are the delivery system of the story to us. So we include that
Abs-
in there as well.
Absolutely. Let's go to art first. What did you think?
Oh, before we do that, I want to also mention, like we do with all our reviews, we backed these. So
Absolutely.
these are books that we paid out of pocket because we wanted them. So yeah, we start with art. Now
Hmm.
there's three stories in this book.
There are.
So there's the one main story, which I'm not sure how many pages it is. Definitely at least 48. It might even been more than that. And then there was two backup stories.
Hmm.
One is, I would say, kind of like a side story, and one is an origin type of a story.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna just say very generically over with all of them, I enjoyed the art.
Yeah.
I was impressed. I was pleased. There was little things obviously I can nitpick about, but just starting with the main story itself, eye-popping colors, beautiful artwork, the creation of the characters, their design really stood out and very pleasing. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Oh no, I agree. Look, I first of all, I want to compliment the strength. I thought the colors in this book, all through all three stories, was fantastic, George. Like
Hmm.
I enjoyed
Hmm.
the colors in all of them. You can see here. I mean, it's a picture I took on my phone, but you could see how the entire the werewolf, Sovereign Wolf, is black, but the highlights on him, you could still see the details, and a lot of newer colors like struggle with that, George.
Hmm.
So I really enjoyed the colors in this book. I overall enjoyed the art from all three of them. Now, I think that Lucas, who drew the first book, is still learning a little bit, and I
Hmm.
feel like some of his layouts were a little bit clunky,
Hmm.
especially when the characters were transforming into their animal form.
Hmm.
I thought in the main book it could have been handled a little bit better, and I think he's learning. Like you
Yep.
could see his potential though as an artist, and it's there in spades. He's going to, if he really hunkers down and learns this craft, this guy's going to be really good. I think, George.
Agreed. One of the things that I spotted that kind of took a little bit away from it was the faces of the humans. Now I've told you many times before, faces are the hardest thing to draw if you ask me. Like when a face isn't drawn properly, it just jumps out at me. Nose, eyes, lips, whatever have you. And there was a few times where even though the expressions were there, the faces just didn't seem right to me.
I would agree.
Only though in human form, because once those guys turned into monsters, they were incredible.
Yeah, look at this guy snarling right now.
Yep.
I mean, it's bad. I mean, badass, George. That's what I'm going to
Yes.
say. When they get into animal form, it is badass.
Mhm. Mhm.
So props to Lucas Meyer for a very solid effort. And like I said, you could see his potential, man. Like this guy can be really good if he wants to be. So he needs to work on his layouts a little bit. I thought they were a bit wonky at times, but I think a lot of the times what fans don't appreciate, and it took me a long time to understand, is being an artist is also being a storyteller.
Mhm.
So when you're going from panel to panel, how you're transitioning is a big factor on how the book flows. I think he missed some mark there a few times, but overall I was very happy, George.
Agreed. My one of the things I want to mention, I can't not mention this, is one of my favorite portions of the book was the second backup story. So the origin story. This artist here, Gabriel Catano, really, really impressed me. Now,
Absolutely.
I know he wasn't the main storyteller, but and I won't say too much about the panel sequences, but it clearly takes place in the past, so there would be some other prehistoric creatures in there. But the facial expressions, the monsters, once again, different creative team as far as art, different artists, different colors. But
Mhm.
that artist really jumped out at me. I was like, "Whoa, this is excellent."
Yeah, yeah, and I'm going to talk about that when we get to the story. That story you mean you're talking about specifically.
Hmm.
I'm going to talk about that in the next segment. So,
Okay.
overall, I give the art on this, and I know it's going to sound harsh, but I think for a first time book, like a B minus, and I would say excellent. Like I didn't get tired of it. Like I said, my complaints would be the transitions between the panels, the way the in the main book, they transform in their animals style, and like you said, the human faces from time to time are a little bit
Hmm.
wonky. So,
I'm
but
actually
B
right there
minus.
with you. I actually graded the exact same way. I gave the art alone, that's pencils, inking, and coloring, a B minus. But to be honest with you, the coloring is exceptional.
It is. It is.
I have to say, just this colorist, this main colorist here, I'm trying to find his name, uh, Giuliano Paratelli,
Paratelli.
um,
Yeah.
exceptional.
Hmm.
Uh, I enjoyed this book.
I
The
would
art was
encourage other. I don't know. Obviously, he's open to CG work. I would encourage other creators to take a look at him if they
mhm,
need a colorist. That's how good he is, George.
agreed, agreed.
Um, so yeah, let's get to the story. You want to
Yep,
go first?
yeah, sure. So it starts obviously with the main story and overall, a good plot. It was very, very dialogue heavy in the beginning.
Hmm.
And I understand this is the first book, this is the first introduction to the characters, but it was extraordinarily dialogue heavy.
Hmm.
I thought some more time would have been needed to take to go through the dialogue to try and trim it down a bit, just to get to the action a little better. That being said,
Can I
once
pop
you,
in real quick?
yeah,
I would disagree with you as far as
hmm,
trimming it down. I wish they added more pages
gotcha.
to thin out the dialogue across a broader section, because I enjoyed the story overall, and I don't know necessarily know if I want it cut down, but I feel like it was too cramped packed, and there weren't enough panels to cover it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so don't trim the dialogue down. Keep the dialogue, but expand the panels themselves.
Exactly.
That would work.
Yeah.
Um, I think though, going over it, look, there's an old expression. I had some time, so I wrote you a letter. If I had some more time, I would have written you a shorter one.
Hmm.
It takes time to trim things down.
Right.
And I feel as though if that time would have been spent with the panels that were there, you could have gotten to where you were when the action actually started. All that being said, though, that's a very minor complaint for me to say. I like the story. I felt as though I knew the characters as I was reading them very quickly. I understood about his lineage very quickly.
Hmm.
His family. I understood who the protagonists and antagonists were.
Hmm.
I was very pleased. Now, I'm talking about the main story. Overall, though, across all three stories, quite impressed with what I saw.
Oh, absolutely. Eddie has a story to tell here.
Yes.
That's evident, and I'm very impressed. I am going to run through a few critiques here. Punctuation suffered heavily in this
Mm-hmm.
dialogue here. Heavily, you had s- words starting sentences that should never start sentences, commas and periods all messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, an editor would have helped this book. Just a copy editor. That's not an editor that would have critiqued like panel layouts or whatever. That's just a copy editor,
Yep.
and it would have made things greatly better.
Yeah. I noticed a couple of little things. I hate to mention it, but a couple times the character's name was spelled wrong.
Hmm.
There was punctuation, like you said. As I'm reading this, and like I said, we include the lettering in the story. I was thinking in my head, this might not have been Eric's best work. And then when I got to the backup stories, I saw a little bit of a decline in the lettering,
Absolutely.
even more so than in the first part of the story. Uh, it would have
Yeah.
been nice to have a uniform story with Eric doing all of it, But that being said, it didn't detract so much where I had to put it down. I still wanted to read to see what was going on.
Right. It is a little bit. I'd critique Eric a little bit here too because I just got done reading Monster MD, where I think that is Eric's best work.
Hmm.
Period. He's never done better. Like his use of sounds, and it was just really good. So it was a step down from Monster MD, I would say. But I mean, it didn't ruin from the story. And really, I mean, if we're critiquing the letters, I mean,
Yep.
like uh one big critique I have as well is the story you were talking about, the origin story. That should have
Hmm.
been put at the front of the book.
I love that story. That I don't want to say it was my favorite because it's obviously not the biggest part of the story, but something about that one just clicked with me 100%. Like everything about that was just what I wanted to read. And like you said, it's at the end. Like there's one other little side story in between it, which
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it like this, I could have done without it. It didn't advance the story for me. Now maybe it's more important for the second installment,
Maybe.
but if they would have pulled that story out, I don't think the main story would have suffered.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, like I hated having it at the end.
mhm,
Like I wanted, because it's so integral
mhm.
to your attachment of. Look, you have what we have, and I love the names that Eddie came up with. Actually,
Yes.
George, the clan of yesterday and the clans of tomorrow. Right? I think that's what he calls them.
Mhm.
So the origin story is the clan of yesterday, and this is how you're forming an attachment to these characters. And I think it would have been much better served to move that story to the front of the book.
Yep. And the other now, hear me out, because this is even though it's not considered part of the story, there was so much in this book. Like there was character profiles, there was pinups, there was all this other stuff going on in this book. And I know folks are going to roll their eyes when I say this. This isn't the first time I've seen this happen, where it's almost they're giving you too much in essence in that book. Do you remember me talking about the same thing with Only Death
Yeah,
Can Save Us?
and I disagree with you then, and I disagree with you now. I
Okay.
love that he does his at the end of the book that he gives his little creator's notes and on certain aspects of. It's kind of a making of a comic book. The end of at the back part of the book, and Eddie gives his creator notes on how this was done and what he thought of that. I love that.
Would you have liked to have seen it? I'm just throwing it out there as an idea, potentially as like a little side pamphlet, ash can, newsstand version, like a newsprint version, like as a little added extra, as opposed to added to this 100-page fine quality book.
Sure, except I know I'm not sure about. Look, I'm glad it's in there. Whether I
Gotcha.
get it that way or this or the way he did, I'm just glad it's there. So I disagree with you a little bit.
Okay,
That's all.
that's fine. That's fine. We're allowed to disagree. Overall, as far as stories goes, and I'm counting all three of the stories in this, I once again gave this a B minus.
Absolutely, you and I are exactly in line again. A B
Hmm.
minus for me. Uh, I know it sounds harsh, but let me get this. I read this entire thing in one sitting, George.
Hmm.
So yeah, I give it a B minus. But like I said, I know after reading it, I understand Eddie has a story to tell, and I'm greatly looking forward to the next one. I can't. It At this point, it might be one of my most anticipated campaigns now, Sovereign Wolf 2,
Wow.
because I can see the potential. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. No, the characters are great. I love their design. I love their names. Like I said, this is all part of the creators. So we talking as part of the story. Uh, I can see how you're excited about this. I'm right there with you.
So overall, I give it a B minus. First
We
time for
we
Eddie.
haven't talked about the book quality actually.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Yep.
So the book quality is an instant standout. So as soon as you bring this up, pull the book out of the bag and board, the cover is glossy, beautiful paper stock, um, bound
Look at
perfectly.
this. Look at this,
Yep.
George.
Yeah, absolutely stunning quality on this book. No expense was spared. Clearly, he has an autograph page in the back, so you can get signatures from the different creators in the book. He has a
Yep.
sketch page in the front, so I guess in case people commission the sketch as part of the campaign, or hey, if in case you see Eddie or someone of the artists at the show, you can get a sketch done there. Just all around, just it's almost like a shine to it. Like when I look at the back, like it reflects the light right off it. It's just absolutely exquisite. Of all the things in this book, the quality stuck out as the most.
Yeah, and I would give the quality. Here's the thing about the quality: is being a comic skater. This is what I expect now. I mean, almost a lot of our books, the physical quality is always there. I mean, I don't think we've ever had a book, George, where we're like, well, the physical quality wasn't up to snuff. So, I mean, although I give it an A, I don't really factor that into my grade of the book anymore, just because this is standard now. This is the way it should be. We should never be bitching about, well, the quality of the book isn't up to par. If we are, then there's a big problem.
I do actually factor in the quality of the book as part of the grade. So I gave it an A as well, but that's going to reflect in my overall score on the
And
book.
that's cool. Like I said, we're allowed to
Mhm.
disagree, man.
Okay.
Like,
So overall, between the story, the art, and the book quality, I gave it a solid B.
yeah, and I give B minus for me. So
For a
it,
first-time creator, a first-time book, that's absolutely stunning.
it is, and I will say this, and I'll reiterate this actually. The potential of this book is very evident on how good it can be. Uh, I expect Eddie to learn from this, and I
Hmm.
expect the second book to be better. And I'm talking like a territory.
Ooh.
So I would tell Eddie, like, great job. I was very happy. You just take some take criticisms, and it doesn't have to be ours, but get some professionals to look at it and get some points from them. You know what I mean, George?
Absolutely. Now, we usually ended there, but you did say you wanted to bring up the bonus items that we got because it was just so exceptional.
Right. So usually you do another review somewhere else where you
Hmm.
talk about this. We're going to talk about it here now. So I'm very excited. Eddie
Hmm.
killed it, George.
Hmm.
Killed it.
Yes.
Trading cards, stickers, prints, the
The
box.
shipping container, yes.
Yeah, geez, I would give it an A plus.
Uh,
It's the best shipped and perks, and that it used to be Flying Fortress for me.
uh
This is replaced Flying Fortress.
There's there's a couple things I want to mention. Um, the number one thing is the poster. Like I can't stress this enough. I can't stand folded posters. I don't keep them. I put them in a pile. If I ever ship something to someone or sell something on eBay, I add it in as a bonus. I can't stand folded posters. He spent the time to roll each one of these individually and put it in this little plastic bag to protect it. I can't believe he did that. Like, I'm keeping this poster.
Hmm.
The cards are exceptional quality. Like,
Absolutely.
these are beautiful, like shiny, just nice cardstock quality cards. Some are from the covers. Like, some of these images I've not seen before. It's just really, really sharp.
Yeah, and then you get the 6 a.m. stickers.
Hmm.
You get so much. Even the sticker, George, that held the book in the bag and
Yeah,
board. I peeled that off so I could put it on my Tower of Power.
I did the exact same thing.
So like I didn't. I even wanted that sticker that he had. So I mean, I loved what he included. Well done, Eddie. Well done. A
I, kn-
plus. It's
I
it's my favorite pack of my favorite packaging, stretch goals, and perks I've had received to date in Comicsgate.
Wow. I agree with you, but it's just nice to hear. Wow, no, like the way it was packaged, bubble wrap around it, the way the poster was rolled, even the trading cards weren't like just stuck in the back of the bag and board.
They
He
were
had a
not.
special little pouch for them.
Hmm.
So all this stuff is amazing.
Yeah. I can't. I can't compliment him enough on his professionalism throughout the campaign as well. I wanted to shout that out for him. Like, he was so excited when he got the book. He was so excited when he was giving his updates, and it got me to back. Actually, his excitement, his enthusiasm got me to back this book back in January. So, I mean, I can't compliment him enough.
Hmm.
Actually, so.
Now, we always talk about, are you glad you're back? Would you back it again? We're still going to get to that question, but I have to ask you this first.
Mhm.
Do you feel as though you got your money's worth out of this book?
Absolutely,
Yep. I mean, what
absolutely.
money absolutely well spent. If you back this book, you'll be glad you did.
Oh, absolutely. And I would even take it a little further, George. If I just got the book alone, I would have thought I got my money's worth. That's a
Nice.
hefty book,
Hmm.
and you get three stories. I know you said one of them's not really. necessary, but you still get it. And then you
Hmm.
get
Hmm.
Eddie's thoughts in making the book. Like you get a lot in the book itself. So yeah, obviously well worth money. Well worth the money.
You're glad you backed?
Yes, I'll back
You'll
again.
and you'll back again. Me too.
This
I'm
is
right there with you.
this book has made me a great big Eddie Winkler fan, George.
Nice. And I have an Eddie Winkler autograph now.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So I don't know what book we're going to be reviewing next, George. Probably
There's
the Lucent.
the Lucent's coming out.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on Warts and All? Because that's a lot to review.
I think we're going to review it, but we'll do it a little different. Obviously, I mean, George and I, we usually wait to discuss books if we do a review on the review itself. So we're going to have to talk about this off air how we're going to handle this. But
Hmm.
I figure we definitely have to have a little video about us reviewing it and talking about it for sure.
Sounds good.
All right, all right. We will talk to you guys later.
Thank you.